excel in data analysis. I believe the first class was insightful. Some of you have gone back and have looked at what we did, and I believe that you've picked one or two things from that. So we're going to be having the second class today. We were not able to take questions the last class. That's because we closed quite late. So I think I should give some room for, and possibly during the week, some of you might have tried out what we did. And if there's any question, it's a good time to ask. If there's no question, we'll just go straight into what we have for today because we don't have so much time. So if there's any question, please go ahead and ask before we start this class. Just put your hands up. If your hands is up, we can quickly take you before we move on. In the absence of no question, we'll be going straight to what we have for today. Okay. So today we'll still be doing data cleaning. Can you please get the recording for last week? Okay, I sent the recording for last week already, last week, Tuesday, right? And I believe we also put it on the group if you are in the group. Somebody's asking, can we get the recording? Yeah, the recording was sent already. That's if you are part of the WhatsApp group or you did register with your mail. I sent it to everybody's mail. Is that okay? So, okay, let's move on. But if you didn't get that, if you were not able to get the link, what should I do? Yeah, one of the problem could be because you didn't submit your correct mail because I noticed that some people's mail came back undelivered. So once again, can somebody help me drop the link to the WhatsApp group so that anybody that has not joined can join? I think that's the easiest way to share information. So please, if you can, just help me and drop the WhatsApp. Let me see if I can get it here and share it. Um, let me show you. If someone can share the group on the link, please do help us do that so that we can move on with the class. Mhm. Invite to group via link, copy link. So for that person asking, please join the group using the link. We can share the we can reshare the link for yesterday again. So please add yourself, right? You've submitted your number. You can add yourself using that link that we just dropped there. Okay, so like I said in the mail that I sent yesterday, for those of us that got that mail, we're going to be doing data cleaning today. More specifically, we started it last week, but we were not able to do much. We used the traditional method for cleaning data. But at the moment, data cleaning has gone beyond just using your traditional trim and all the stuff that we used last week. You can use Power Query for doing all that before you load in your data. And we're going to be seeing that in today's class. So without talking too much, let's just go and see what we have. Data sets, which I think I've already sent to you, and every other thing. So first of all, we're going to look into our data set. Just give me a minute. I'm going to be sharing the data sets. So I'll start from there. Okay. So this is the data set we'll be working on, right? Um, it contains 84 column, 84 rows, right? And 12 columns. So this is a data set from a new company that started in 2016, right? They want you to use the data in determining which person should be promoted, right? This is 2024, so 2016 to 2024 is about 8 years, right? Yeah, it's about 8 years. So they want you to use the data set to possibly analyze the HR data of the company, provide insights and recommendation for staff promotion, right? And identify employees who have worked for 7 or more years, and also develop a plan to promote eligible staff members. That means staffs that have worked in that company for over 7 years, they are due for promotion. That is what you're expected to do. So that should be what is driving us. So whenever you're given a data set and you're told to clean it, you want to ask for the objective, the clear guide, right? The objective should be what guides you. So you want to be sure that you sit with the organization or the people involved and discuss what they aim to achieve with the data that has been sent to you, right? That will answer a lot of questions for you. One of them is, okay, does this data set that was sent to me meet the criteria of what the data set is to be used for, right? And if not, it might require you to ask for more information, right? And it guides you also why doing data cleaning, because possibly they might ask you, they might send a large data to you, and just a few of them is relevant to what you need to do. So, of course, the fewer the data, the better for us all, because the fewer the data points, let me not say the fewer the data, the fewer the data points, the better for us all. Why? Is because you are able to analyze quickly. Your system is, your data is optimized, so you can get information easily and all the rest. So we'll be doing all that in this class. Okay, when you're talking about cleaning data, please take note of this. When you're talking about cleaning data, there are a few things that are very, very important, right? It's called data quality dimension. And those are things that you must pay attention to if you need to have a clean data, right? A data that you can trust, a data that you can rely on. So what are those qualities quickly? And that's part of what should also guide you while doing your cleaning, right? One of them is you look for outliers. So accuracy. In trying to get the accuracy, you look out for outliers. What are outliers? Outliers are they are part of the data, right? The data is actually there in the column or there in the row, but it happens that and that particular data is not within the range of what you should expect for that column. Take, for example, um, we're looking at age of an employee, right? And we are seeing 110. This is an extreme case, and 110, right? 110 can be, and let's say the other numbers that you're seeing there is between maybe 26 to 55 or to 60. 110 there is an outlier. And when you see something like that, you begin to ask questions. You want to call back the organization or whoever gave you that data set to ask, okay, I saw that this person, this social person, his age is 110. Do you have somebody that's 110 working in your organization? So you want to find out to be sure that that person actually do work in that organization, or that is the exact age of that person. So you want to find out that you want to get clarification about that. So that is that for outliers. Outliers should be taken care of. It's something that is very, very important, and it shouldn't be in your data. At least you work with um outliers will definitely change your average points, right? And it does a lot, right? One of the easiest way to locate outliers is through using bus plots, which if we are not able to touch today, I thought we'll be doing visualization today, but it dawned on me that I should just dwell on data cleaning. Then we can do visualization next week. I will show you how to use bus plot and some other visualization to locate some of these things, hopefully next week. So accuracy, looking out for outliers. Bus plot is one of the best ways, but you can use filter, especially using Power Query, to also find out that when you see numbers that is extremely from the range or what is expected. Abosede, please, can you mute yourself?
Oh, I'm so sorry, please. Please, I don't know. I can't see your cursor. It's just the screen I can see. Like, I don't know if you're moving your cursor or something.
Okay, yes. Is there data sets on your screen?
Yes, there's a data set.
So yeah, just listen while I go over what I'm talking, then we can we can go through the data set together. Ayo, please, can you mute yourself? Okay. Please mute yourself if you are not in the class, or if you are not, sorry, if there's noise in your background, because that's what is most important. Okay, so look out for accuracy, right? Secondly, look for the completeness of the data. That means sometimes you're sent a data and there are some missing values. Take, for example, in department column, you don't have department, right? So that's a missing value. You have to look for a way to, you can call back the company to ask, okay, is also person, what department is also person? Because there's a missing data here, just to complete it. So what I'm trying to say is in data analysis, you work closely with the organization that or the department that's providing the data sets, so you could get your job done accurately. So you look out for accuracy, you look out for completeness of the data, then you look out for consistency. That's also very, very important. Consistency can have a way of changing the analysis. Take, for example, I spell Donald in capital letter, right? Okay, let me use the department, for example. I use sales in capital letter in one and use sales in small letter in another. right, in another row. What that we do, it would analyze the two data as two different departments, whereas it's the same sales. Just because there's a spelling error or there's an error in the capitalization and all that, it has a way of distorting your analysis. So you want to set the data types, right? The formats, and ensure that there is standards in what you are in the data set, right? You also want to check for relevance. You want to be sure that you've removed unnecessary details, like some things that are not important is totally removed from it's part of data cleaning. It's removed from the data set so that you can better optimize for better optimization, basically, right? So that when you're calling up things, the system does not have to check quite a lot unnecessary things before it's able to fetch out what it needs to submit to you. Then also you want to look out for duplicates. You want to remove duplicates, right? You want to ensure that the data set is totally unique, right? And we're going to be seeing all that in the class today. You want to ensure that you remove all unnecessary duplicates. Okay, please make it clear that everyone must mute themselves even before joining the class. One can only unmute when they need to ask questions. Please, um, please make it clear. Ensure that you mute yourself while you're trying to join the class, and you only unmute when you need to ask a question so that the class don't get rowdy at any point. Please help us. Thank you. Okay, let's move on then. So like I said before, this is the data set, right? And what I want to do is to move this data into a Power Query. As a rule of the thumb, yeah, as one of the very important things that you must ensure that you do, when you are sent a data set, don't clean that data using that original data set. So you must have a backup, right? A backup of that dirty data set somewhere, and the same data now, copy it and paste it somewhere else, or when you're loading it into Power Query, what it will do is that it will usually even form something new, but just copy it just to avoid, just like what I would do now. You see what I just did? I came, hello, Judith. You want to say something? Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I wanted to ask that I know that it's more practical. There are some stuff that you were saying, like in theory and all of that we might not be able to because we are trying to catch up with you. That was too fast. Is it possible for us to maybe have a slide prepared, so that we'll be able to go through them again, even while watching the video and kind of on our own say get to learn from it, like having a slide, all these things that you were mentioning, like what is important, how to clear um cleaning data and all of that. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I get you, Judith.
Mm.
I get you. Remember you sent the video link, right? But if you want a little, maybe a brief summary together with the link that I will share on what I just said, more like the preamble I just gave before coming back here, I will try and do that while sending the video recording link. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. You can drop your hand now if you don't mind. Thank you. So now let's start this. So I'm going to copy my table, right? I'm going to copy my table. All I did here to copy the table, because it's just a table that I want to copy, right? I click on the first column, right? I press on Shift Control, Then you see that arrow key. I press on the arrow key that looks like greater than, or more like the end, right? So you click on that. Immediately you click on that, it highlights the table, the entire table. Then press down also, right? It also takes everything down, right? So that's it. Then you copy, right? Let's After copying, you can rename that sheet. You can see that there is just showing sheet one. Let me rename it to, for example, let me rename it raw data, right? So that I will know that that's the data that is so important to me, and I just want to keep it. I don't want to do, I don't want to play with it because I might somehow come out to it. So I go to another sheet, right? All I needed to do to get another sheet is to click on the plus column there. You can see that plus, right? With that plus, you get a new sheet. Then you do control, you click on any cell there, right? Possibly the first cell there, and you click Control V to paste. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste, right? Another way I could have pasted that without wanting to get this table, please let me do that again, right? Another way I could have done the pasting without coming up, without it bringing that table, is to come on this first cell, right click it, right? And you see paste, right? But the paste is not just the paste. I want to get the paste values, only the paste values, right? Just the one that has 1, 2, 3 under it. So I prefer to use that. So with that, I get the table, right? But I get just the values or the data inside the table. That's better for me, right? So after getting the table, now I can go to my Power Query, right? How do I go to Power Query? There are two ways I could have gone to Power Query. If this is closed, right, I can load directly from Power Query, right? What do? I simply come here from test CSV, right? I can load directly from, or I can even click from get data here to get my Power Query. But I will not do all that. I'll rather come from table range. So these are, hope you get what I'm saying. You can either get your data from Power Query to Power Query using get data, from test or CSV, from web, from table range. You can get your Power Query. But since this is just test, right, and CSV, and my test is already highlighted because I just pasted it, I can click from test CSV. Why? It's because it's highlighted already. So from test CSV, rather from table range, right? So you click from table range. So it tells you, okay, is it from, where is the data we are considering? Is it from A1, right, all the way to L85? If you look at that correctly, you see that your data ended here, right, which is the last, you can see that the last column is in L, and the last row is in 85. So it said A1 to L85, right? And he closed it with the $sign. So that is what I want, right? So I simply click OK. Clicking OK brings us over to Power Query. So this is your Power Query platform, right? Sorry, give me a minute. Let me see. I need to walk around. I want my this thing as empty as possible so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I think it's better this way. So this is your Power Query, right? You see Power Query editor there. You see table transform. So this is almost the same thing as what you will see in Power BI if you're trying to upload a data in Power BI. That's why I told you that this class will be very relevant for people that are wanting to learn Power BI too. To be frank with you, Excel has very close. If you understand Excel very well, you can apply it in Power BI because is the difference is not so much, right? The writing of code and everything is not so different, right? Okay. So this is my data. Mm. So these are the tabs that we have. We have home, we have transform, which is very, very important. We have add column, we have view. The first thing I want to do here is rename my table. So let me rename that to, what should I rename it to? Let me rename it as HR data, right? So with that now, I can start my cleaning, right? In doing my cleaning, what are some of the things I start to look out for? I want to look at the number of rows and column. So without talking too much, right? You can see that it has already told you the numbers of rows and column under it. You can see, can you see under this where my cursor is currently, you can see the number of columns there, 12 columns, 85 rows, right? And you see that column profiling based on top 1,000 rows, right? This tells you that, okay, this only accounts for rows that are not beyond 1,000. So if you have a data set that's beyond 1,000, you might need to do something further to get the exact number of row, right? So to get the exact number of row when you are not, please mute yourself, please. Please mute yourself. Mute yourself. Is it Tibet? Tibet, please mute yourself. Right? So if your role is more than 1,000, right? You do what is called column count, right? You do what is called column count to actually get the number of rows that you have, and that is very, very possible. You can count your column using what we call column count. Okay, but if it's less than 1,000, you can easily get it without going through a lot of stuff by just looking at your, you can see it there just under it, right? Should be somewhere around, the column count should be somewhere around test, under view rather. Column distribution, column profiling, advanced editor, query dependencies. No, that is not, okay. Column quality, column count is under, I mean row count instead. It's not column count. It's supposed to be under reverse rows. And count rows, you can see it there under transform, right? So if I click on count rows, for example, it tells me that it's 85. So currently we're working on 85 rows. So if it's more than 1,000, right, it will not be showing here like it just did, right? But you need to come to add, you need to come to transform and click on count rows like I just did to get that. You can see the figure there, 85, right? But that's not what I want. So I'll just close that step. You can see applied steps just at your right-hand corner. You can see applied steps. So that lists out the number of steps that every step that you take, it gets updated there. But I don't want that at the moment. I just wanted to show you. So I can just close that step and I get back what I was doing before. Yeah. Okay. So the first is to count the numbers of rows and to count the numbers of columns, right? We've gotten the numbers of rows to be 85. We've gotten the numbers of columns to be 12. But I was updated by the company that sent the data that, okay, we're going to have 80 staffs, right? That the company has just 80 staff. So if the company has 80 staff, what I should be expecting to see is probably 80 columns, isn't it? So that's to tell me that there's either duplicates or there are some unnecessary data or there's something that is just making the rows add up to 85. So we need to look out to work on that. That's one. So we've taken note of that. Then another thing you want to turn on immediately you load your data, which will give you some idea about things generally, is to go to transform. Ibrahim, you raised your hands. Please go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry to drag you back, but I think a lot of us are lost at some points. I can see in the chats people saying they are lost, like from copying to pasting. If you could just quickly, please.
He said because I'm sure my audio is not connected from the beginning, so you can see as not muted. I'm lost from copying to pasting, please. Sorry, I don't understand that. Okay, sorry about that. Usually I don't follow the chat because I'm trying to concentrate and the chat does not show like okay, Judith, your hand is up. Go on.
I'm sorry. I'm actually really trying to follow and also do like the way you're teaching us. So I'm lost from
Okay, I'm going to close this now.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know if you're using I'm using Mac, so I'm also trying to see how I could follow up with the whole thing because it's not the same um um face. Please, I don't even know how you copy this one now. The parts. Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. The first thing I did was to copy this, right? How did I copy it? I simply highlighted my columns where I have my text. And what did I do? I clicked the first box. Can you see what I just clicked the first box now? And I click the shifts, the control. I don't know what these things, to be frank with you, I've never used Mac. Or I'm not so used to Mac. Okay, I've used the Mac once in a while, but it's not, I'm not, so I can't tell you that, okay, this is what it is in Mac. So please, pardon me, I really wish I can do that for you right now. So, well, you should be able to look for a way around it. So Shift, Control, right? Then, and you press your forward key, right? That just highlights the entire row for you, right? Then you click down, right? What that does is that it highlights everything before the next row with a missing data. And if you click it again, ensure that everything in data is included. I know based on my data, what I can see already, I have 85, no further. If you even try to click down, right, nothing else, it will just be showing, to just be highlighting empty cells, like what it's doing currently. I don't want that. I just want only the cells that contain something, right? If you've been able to highlight that, all you need to do is to do Control C. Judith, please put your hand down so that next time you put your hand up, we'll know that it's a new one. So I go to a new sheet, right? And I click on the first column, right? Like I'm going to do now, right? Then I do Control V. Or, yeah, I should, or did I not? Yeah, obviously I didn't copy. I thought I copied. Let me go back and copy properly. So Control C to copy, right? Then you come here, you do, like I said, there are two ways. You can just do Control V to paste everything and all the corrections that you've made already, but you can just come here and paste only the values, right? So rather than P, don't just do Control P, just rather do values, right? Paste values. So click on that. So what that does for you is that it brings just the values of the content that you just copied, right? So if you do that now, the next thing you should be able to do, or you need to do, is to click on data, right? I believe you should have data on your as one of the tabs on your Excel sheet. If you look at the top, so click on data, right? On data, click from table range, right? From table range. That highlights the entire table cells for you from A1 to L85. And that's exactly what I want. If you check that, it covers the entire table. Remember that the table was already highlighted, so it picks that up for you. Is that okay? So you click OK. When you click OK, what it does is that it takes you to Power Query directly. So is that okay? Are we together?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on. So like I did first, I want to rename this to HR data. After doing that, I want to begin to look into the rows and column, right? But the first thing you want to do when you get here is to look at your numbers of rows and column, which I've explained earlier, that I shouldn't go over that. Please, you get the video, please. You can look through that. Let me just move forward because time is already running. So the next thing I want to do is to turn on data quality and profiling. That will help give me a lot of information about the data already. So if I come to view, right? If I come to view, I can turn on, you can see you have column quality, you have column distribution, you have column profiling. So I can turn on both column quality, right? You can see that a new stuff had just showed up, right? Which we're going to look at shortly. Then you can also turn on column profile, right? This gives you an idea, right? So it's always good that even if you have to untick it later, just stick on it so that you get a rough understanding of what is happening in the data, right? Okay. So in column 1, we can see that valid, all the data are valid 100%, error 0%, empty 0%, right? The same thing here, the same thing here, the same thing here, the same thing here. So it just gives you some rough estimate already. That does not mean that even though you're seeing 100%, 0% error, 0% empty, you might want to ask why it's empty, right? Take, for example, if I have null in that data, it will still show that it is not empty, isn't it? So that is showing that sometimes it could show something if the box is entirely empty, right? That's okay, maybe like 5% of it of the column is empty or something. So you might want to look into that because it gives you some information, some quick information. Okay, looking at this, right? Which is the column profiling now, right? Let me click on it back so that you see what I mean. It gives you a count, right? The column is or the row is 85. The count is 85 rows. The error is 0. The empty is 0. Distinct is, we have 84 distinct. That's to tell you that, oh, because in data analysis, what we work with more is distinct values. So that's already telling me that possibly there's a duplicate for us to have 18 values. We even have on unique, we have 83, right? That's also raising another eyebrow. So that's telling me that the count is not exactly correct with the distinct and unique, right? Which should be the case. So the empty string, the minimum, the maximum. You get the minimum and the maximum when you click on each of the column. But it's not showing like that here because, of course, we have several columns that's being considered here. Then, of course, this is also telling us about the primary ID. In data analysis, there's what is called primary ID, or what we call unique values or unique column, right? Unique ID, UID, right? What does the unique ID do? The unique ID helps us. Take, for example, you open a bank account. Please mute yourself, please. Please help us. Yeah. Who is that person? Who is iPhone? Okay, so I was talking about unique ID. Unique ID helps us distinguish between each person, right? And unique ID is more like it's called the unique identifier. It helps to distinct the different roles, right? Take, for example, you have a bank account. Your bank account is unique to you, right? It's a unique identifier. It's a primary key for the bank. So if they want to get your information, all they need to do is to put in your account number and all your information comes out. So no two persons have the same bank account in a bank, right? So in your data, the same thing happens. No two persons should have the same unique identifier. That's if you're trying to build a data set. You understand that each person should have a unique ID or a primary key. And that's very, very important, which you'll see as we move on. Please, let's try and move fast now. You can see that 101 has a very long column, right? That tells us that possibly something is wrong there, which we'll look into as we move on, right? But the rest seems fine, right? So having looked at this, it has given us a rough idea of what the data looks. So I'm going to undo it, right? And begin to look into the data more carefully. So the next thing I want to look at is, of course, we've talked about the primary key or the unique identifier. I've already told you that the unique identifier in this particular data set is the employee ID, which our column profile just helped us locate quickly. So take note of that. The employer ID is the unique identifier, and it is very, very important for us to take note of that because it will be very useful. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is to remove unwanted rows. We can see that, like I said earlier, we are expecting 80 rows because there are 80 staffs, but what we have here is 85. So we can begin to work on it to see that we reduce this to what we have. So the first thing you want to do is to click on this filter. You can see a filter here, right? Click on it, the arrow down key. Click on it. It tells you what you have there. You can see that you have a dash here as the first column, right? Which other thing do you have? You have a column 1, column 1.1. All that is not really necessary, right? Because, okay, let's look at it. Let's unselect all and look at this data column, the one with just a dash, and this column 1, column 1.1, and column ID. Let's look at that and see the information that we have. Can you see what I just did? So it helps to reduce the cells to what's to just those cells I ticked. That's what filter does, right? In column 1, we just have column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. To be frank with you, we don't need that, right? We don't need that because it's not useful to us in any way. It's not a data point. It doesn't have a unique identifier that is you notice that the rest unique identifiers are 3, and in this case, it doesn't have a unique identifier. Column 1.1, column 1.3, that's not also useful, right? The next is very useful because it's like an header, right? Employee ID, first name, last name, department. So that is very useful. You want to keep that. Then the fourth column that we're seeing here, you can see dash, 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 dash. That is also not very relevant, right? So we're going to remove this first column, this first row, this second row, and this last row, because they are not important to us. So let me do that now. The first thing I want to do is to cancel my filter so that I have my full data. Come back here, right? Undo those specific rows I just said I don't want. I don't want this, right? I don't want column 1. I don't want column 1.1, and I click OK. Those are things I don't want. So having that now, you can see the rows now. The rows has dropped to 82 rows. Does that make sense? So I'm already reducing my data set. But what we actually need is 80. Remember that I just said that one of them is an header. So by the time we send this to the elder column, which we can already do, right? If I go to home, right? And I say use first row as headers, right? That automatically kicks out what is there currently, which is column 1, column 2, column 3, and all the rest. It kicks that out and becomes the new header. So let's do that quickly. Use first row as headers. Look at what happens. Can you see? So employee ID, first name, last name, department, salary, and all that become the first header. And that drops our row to 81. Can you see what we're doing? Okay, we're making progress. I can also check if we have duplicate values. Today is requesting to record this meeting locally. Why do you want to do that? It will be sent to you, isn't it? Telly, I believe I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Telly, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you, Mo.
Yes, it's already been recorded. So why do you want to record it privately?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
please.
normal.
Yeah. So you will get it, please. Sorry that you got it late the last time, to be frank with you. Yeah, please, sorry. You possibly should get it earlier this time, maybe on Monday or so. Yeah. Tuesday is not so late, is it? That's okay. So let's move on, please. Like I said, duplicate values. How do you check for duplicate values? You can, please, it's wise you look at duplicate values or unnecessary values or missing values from employee ID, right? Because employee ID is the unique identifier and it gives very, very important. In fact, if there's a unique identifier, that means the person is real. So take, for example, I have 104 here and there's no name, right? There's no name. There's no first name. There's no last name, but there's a department. There's a salary. I know that there's somebody there, just that possibly that name was not filled there. Do you understand? So the unique identifier is very important. Unlike there was no unique identifier, but I have a name, I have a, yeah, because there's a unique identifier, I take that data more serious than if it's the unique identifier that's missing. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so I come here, I check for duplicate. So
Website
what
now.
do
Don't
you
do
say?
the since.
Okay, please mute yourself if you are there. What I want to check is remove duplicate. But before I remove duplicate here, I want to see what the duplicate values are. I want to see what the duplicate values are. So I can say rather than remove errors, I want to see add column from remove errors, replace errors. What am I looking for? I'm trying to see keep duplicates, which should be somewhere around here. Unpivoted, pivot, fill, replace errors, duplicate columns. No, it's not duplicate. What am I not seeing? Remove duplicate. It's supposed to be keep duplicate here. Okay. Remove errors. So I can, okay, let's see duplicate columns first, right? Okay, that's not showing me what I want. Well, that should be there. Okay, let's look at that. So if you're
Sorry to interject. If you try right clicking the small icon that has like the cell near employee ID,
yes, what happened to it?
you'll see the keep duplicates because it's showing on mine. So there's
Okay,
a
on
small
this,
yes. If you right click on that, oh,
it's not showing, right?
it's showing
Yeah,
on
because
mine. That's where I did. I just did a right click on that and it brought out keep duplicates, keep errors, keep range of rows. That's the various options there.
yeah, I'm more shocked that because this is what I use. I'm shocked. Yeah, remove other columns. Let me see. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's showing now.
you should
Yep.
have, sorry, yeah,
Mm.
you should have come to this table. You see this table over here. So it's not this, is the table. Can you see that table key there where my arrow is? So click on it, please. That's where I should have. So what you need to do is to keep duplicates. I want to see the duplicates before I delete it. I don't just want to delete, right? Keep duplicates. And it's showing me that the table is empty. That means there's no duplicate then. All right. Kept duplicates. So there's no duplicates. So why am I having 81 rows? There's something that is, let me just look through the data quickly, sorry. 101 filter should also help me get that.
Hi. Sorry, I think you duplicated initially when you were looking for it, so I think that's what happened. I think.
Okay, did I remove duplicates?
No, I
Have I
think
already
when you were searching for it, I think you duplicated the unique ID. I think it's at the end.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you for that quickly. I'm going to be removing it. So how do you remove a column? Look at it. Let me just explain that now. I right click it, right? And I do remove column. Remove. Are you seeing that? So that just removed that column from there. Then if I come here and I click and I do that remove duplicate again, and I do keep duplicate again, let's see now if it will still show. Oh, nothing showed up. Okay, but if there was a duplicate, something would have showed up. So that's to tell me that nothing is there as a duplicate. So if I come here now, for example, and I do remove duplicates, I don't expect anything to change. Yes. Can you see that it has become 80 rows? That means something is a duplicate there. So I wonder why. Okay, but to remove anything called duplicates, right? Anything that is exactly the same, right? You highlight the unique key, like I said, it's very important, which this should have given to us. Remove duplicates, remove other columns. I wanted to see only the duplicates first before I remove it so that you see the comparison, right? So just give me a minute. Let me be sure. Keep duplicates. Okay, still showing me the same thing. Okay, guys, let's just remove the duplicates then and move on because we're already wasting time using that. So with removing duplicates now, we get the 80 rows which we're expected to get. So that's sorted, right? Okay, the next thing we want to start doing is to set column headers. We've already set column headers, so better for us. Let's move to setting data types, right? Take, for example, employer ID. It's good employer ID is in text and not values. Right now it's in numbers. That's why you can see 1, 2, 3 here, right? So what I want to do is to change it to test. So click on that 1, 2, 3 you're seeing, right? And click on test because that's what is best for that, right? Okay, first name is already in test because there's ABC there. Last name is in test. Department is in test. Salary is in test, but of course, salary should not be test, isn't it? Salary should rather be in currency. But we'll come back to salary while doing other data cleaning, right? But right now, let's set it to currency. You can see that it went to error, right? And there's a reason why. So I'm going to undo that for now. Why? Is because of the dollar sign. The dollar sign is there, right? So because of that, it will show to error. So let's quickly handle that since we are there at the moment, right? So what do? I split this cell, right? I split the cell. I split the column, right? So that you can separate the value from the dollar sign, right? All I need is the value, right, of the salary. I don't need the currency because it's already telling me that it's on USD there. So I don't need to put dollar there necessarily any longer. So I split column and I want to split by delimiter. Why? Is because dollar sign is a delimiter, right? Split by delimiter, right? Look at what it shows. It shows custom, right? What do you want to separate by? I want to separate by custom, right? That's okay. Dollar, right? Everything here split using each character. Everything here is correct. You don't need any quote character. So basically, I want to split by this dollar sign, and that's there already. So I simply click OK. Clicking on OK, right? It takes the dollar sign out. So I can come here and remove that column, right? Because I don't need it. So remove. I can come back here and rename the header and ensure that what I have there is salary USD, right? So I have a correct stop there. So I want to change it to currency now. So I click on 1, 2, 3 that you have there, just a little 1, 2, 3, and click on currency. Can you see that? So that is it. Then I come to start date, right? Start date is already correct for us. I think it just affected the correction because what I have turned on already makes it correct itself when a date comes here. What do I mean by what I turned on? We are in UK, so the time format should be in English UK time. So how do you correct that? Because sometimes it's not often corrected or affected. So you bring your data and you begin to struggle. So you want to understand the format of the data first. The UK time dates writing is different from the US dates writing. So sometimes it's different. So you want to know which format is being used. And if you understand the format, sometimes you have your date coming in different form. So to make it correct itself or to make you correcting it easier, all you need to do is to come to File, come to Options and Setting, come to Query Options, right? And it loads this up for you. Then you click on Regional Settings. Then under local, ensure that what you have there is English United Kingdom. That is if your date format is if your date format is in United Kingdom format. Sometimes it is USA, right? Which is also possible for you to change, right? But if I change it to USA now, let's see what will happen. English, United States of America, USA, yeah, United Kingdom, United Arab, US minor acne. There's so many US even. Let's use okay, yeah, there's United States, yeah. Let's use that and see what happens to our dates. Right? Then I click transform, right? And I go to change type, rather, and I change to date. Can you see that there's an error happening there? Why? Is because that format is not in the proper format that the date was originally written. So what you should have some errors. But since it was written in UK time, you want to ensure that you set that properly. I just wanted to show you that so that when you see something like that, you can know how to correct it, whether it's in US format or it's in UK format, so that you don't have such error. Please, a key normal. Please ask your question why I set it back to UK. That's fine.
Yes, sorry, just two questions. So I got lost for where you have to change the text and the values. That's number one. Then the currency. So I was trying to navigate it on my system, but I'm not able to do that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So I got lost, right?
Yes.
When you said to change the text to ensure that there was text, I got lost at where the function is. Then the currency part too.
Okay, I'm coming. Just give me a minute. I will respond to you now.
Thank
you. Change data type. Or what did I just do? Okay. This video will be sent to you, right? So you have the opportunity to look at it over and over again. So I think to allow us cover what we're trying to cover today, I think we are still working on others. So you possibly will grab it as we move on. So if you don't, you still get the video so that you go through it and follow it step by step, right? So please, so that we are able to cover as much as we need to cover today, please. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, please. Okay, so that's the start date, right? We've corrected that, and I've shown you what you need to do. Peradventure, the date format is different. Then let's move over to the next address. Really, in my address, I really don't need address for anything, and I'm going to remove it as we go on. So let's leave it for now. Let's just leave it for now. This is age, right? Age is in numbers, of course. This is state of origin. State of origin is in test. Gender is in test, and all the rest. Marital status is in test. Employee type is in test. How do I know is in test? Because there's ABC here at the little top left-hand column, right? Yeah. So that's how I know that it's a test. Okay, so having looked at that, the next thing I want to do is to ensure that I trim the data. I trim the data so that I don't have unnecessary space, because unnecessary space is very dangerous and it can make your data look different even though they are the same, right? Especially for departments and other columns that have the same stuff, right? It might just make it look different. Okay, let me show you something. Department, for example. Consider under department, I have finance, human resource, information, technology, IT, marketing, operations. Okay, that will not give me a true picture of what I'm looking for. But basically, sometimes you have unnecessary space. And when you have unnecessary space, it will be wise for you to remove them. Because it just helps you have a cleaner and better, it's part of the cleaning process. So what do I do? To make life easier for me, I simply highlight everything by simply pressing Shift, Control, and my forward key. Yeah, it should show. Yeah. So you can see that everything is being highlighted, right? Everything has been highlighted, right? I simply click on why. Okay, let's do it again. So I click on the first row, Shift, Control, see, Control A, and I click everything, Shift, and forward key. So just press Shift and forward key. It highlights everything, right? And I right click it. So all I need to do is to let me start by doing the column, right? The first column, because I wonder why it's behaving like that. Let me start by doing the first column. You can do it one after the other. You're supposed to be able to highlight everything and do them together. I wonder why it's so you right click the first column, you right click, please right click at the top, not on the cell. Right click on the header more like, right? Then you go to transform. You can see transform there. You go to transform there, and from there you should be able to see trim. Sorry guys, just give me a minute. Change tab to, oh, this is showing old number. That's why, please change it to test. I thought we changed it to test. So why is it showing old number? So right click on it again and click transform, and you should be having trim there. Please, employee ID should always be on test. Should always be in test rather. So trim, right? That helps to take care of every space there. Then do the same for other column. So I'm going to highlight other columns. Right, those are the other columns. Right click on the top, right? And look for transform. You know why the other column is not showing? Because there's a test there. There's a value there, rather, a number there. So it's not going to show. Please, let's work on them individually. Thought we could quickly do that. Writing everything. I forgot that. Let me do for this set first, then I do for the other sets. Right. Okay. Let me do for this first three sets. I right click that. And I click transform and I click trim. Right. That trims up everything. Then of course I can't do that with date. So the next thing is address. I do the same thing there. I go to transform, trim, and that trims everything. State of origin, gender, I can do them together because they are both tests. Sorry, let me be sure that. So gender, marriage status, employee ID, they are all tests, so you can do them together. Why it was not showing is because there were some values in it. Sorry about that. Okay, trim, right? And it trims it up. I've told you what trim means: removing spaces that are not wanted, right? Which could alter the values of what you have. So we've been able to trim this carefully, right? Okay, take for example, we have another thing we want to look out for is to ensure that the the tests are in standard are the same, right? So take for example this, we have Chinedu, Ngozi, Abdul, Funke, Chika, Uneka. Uneka started with a small letter. Emeka, Folake, Ayodele. Some started with a small letter, some started with capital letter, some were in all capital letter, like Nkema Loko, something, right? So Ugochukwu. So all those needs to be dealt with. So how do we deal with that? So I come here, right? I light the entire row, right? And I right click it, get transform, right? You can see there's lowercase, uppercase, and capitalize each word. So I want to use capitalize each word. To get lowercase, everything becomes in small letters. When you use uppercase, everything becomes capital letter. And when you use capitalize each word, it becomes just the first letter in capital. So we're going to capitalize each word, right? You can see that everything now there is correct. You do the same to last name, right? Transform. Is there transform there? Why is there no transform there? Yeah, there's transform there. Then capitalize each word. In fact, I need to change these two together. I need to merge both of them together, first name and last name, because first name and last name, why do we have them separately when it's just the name of the person, right? I really don't need them separate. In fact, with time, I might not even really need the name in the analysis. So I can as well just merge both of them. So this will teach you how to merge. So I like the two column, right? Go to transform, right? And in transform, you see merge columns there. Can you see merge columns? So merge columns. So merge columns now is asking you what are the separators. I want my separator to be a space in between, right? And what is the new column name? The new column name should be name or name of staffs. Name of staff, right? Okay. So I can see that has done that for me. It has merged both of them and has given me name of staff, right? Then the next row, let's filter the next row. Yeah, I think we've done that already. Let's see, let's do the same here. Let's ensure that is all standardized, transform, capitalize each word, right? Which other thing? The same thing with states. We can leave that for address. Like I said, I can just remove the address. I don't need address for anything. I don't need the address will not help me in analysis. It will not help me in what I'm doing. So I'm just going to remove it immediately. It's part of data cleaning, right? So you just want the codes or the columns that are most relevant to you. So I'm going to remove that quickly. Then I come to state of origin, right? I also want to do that there. Transform, capitalize. Then the same thing with gender. This just help my data sets to be consistent, to be standard, right? So capitalize each word. The same thing with this, capitalize each word. Is there any questions so far? All right. Okay, now let me also handle another thing here quickly. If that's okay, Daniel, please go ahead. Daniel, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, all right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
I don't know. Is this Excel? I joined late, so I don't even understand what is happening. So is this Excel or another software entirely?
It's Excel. It's Power Query. Power Query is in Excel.
Okay, I'll watch the video then later. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Power Query is in Excel. In fact, there are a lot of things in Excel which we don't make use of. But as a data scientist, those are things that you have to take advantage of, right? If we have the time, we'll touch Power Pivot a bit so that we can use it in modeling the data, right? I hope to get there, hopefully. That's why we need to run fast. Because, yeah, please, let's move on, yeah? Daniel, please drop your hand if that's all.
All right.
Any other question? Okay, let's move on. Okay, employee type. Under employee type, we have full-time. Everything there is full-time. You can check it under your filter. Everything there is full-time. That means everybody, there's no part-time. So we really don't need that column because it's just one, which is full-time. That will not help us in analyzing anything. So we can as well just remove it. Can you see those are things that you look at to remove things? You don't just remove them because you just feel like removing them. Question is, does it help you in your analysis? If it doesn't help you in your analysis, you are free to remove it. If it doesn't help you in your analysis, please do well to keep it. So remove it. Okay? I think we're doing good. Which other thing do we need to pay attention to? Under these values, right? Let's leave it as whole numbers. We don't want those 0.00. So we'll come here, change type, and we leave it as, yeah, it's in currency. So let's leave it as currency. Currency is currency, right? Even though I don't need those 0.004, can leave it as that. The thing I'm missing, okay. Let's check a few things. One of them is, take for example, gender, right? I come to gender. Let's look at the data inside gender. I'm beginning to clean the data now. I'm beginning to clean some, look at this. Not that there are spelling errors here, right? Female, rather than female, I have female. I have male rather than male, right? I need to change that correctly or else my analysis will not be correct. We understand that we have just two gender, which is either male or female, right? So we can clean that. How do we do that? So we right click on it, on the row, and click replace values, right? Under replace values, the first thing we have male. You can change it to male, right? And click OK, right? Oh, yeah, please. That was a mistake. If you look at what we have there, we're already making a mistake. Rather than male, it gave us Mali. It gave us Mali here. It gave us Mali here. Why? Because there was something I was supposed to click that I didn't click. Yeah, I will explain when I do it. So let's do it again, please. So I go there, I click replace values. I click on, I type mal because I want to replace it. So why we were getting that error, it was because anywhere I see mal, right? Even though there's a spelling there already as male, it replaces that mal to be male. So just M-A-L, it fills with it M-A-L-E. Remember that in male, usually there's an E there before already. So you now have double E. To make that not happen, right? We click on advanced options. We click on match entire cell contents. What that does for us is that it ensures that whatsoever it corrects or whatsoever it replaces male with is exactly M-A-L. Do you get what I'm saying? So if it says M-A-L-E, he ignores it. It must match the exact word M-A-L for it to replace it with M-A-L-E. Okay, if I click OK now, and I click on that my filter like I did earlier, I will not say M-A-L any longer. Right? Why? Is because it has been replaced by male. The same thing I would do for this female, right? I go there, I right click it, I click on replace values, and I type female. Is that correct? Female. And I replace it with female, right? And I do the same thing. Sorry about that. And I click OK, right? It becomes female. So you can see that when you do your filter now, all that you should have there is female and male, right? Okay. So another thing you want to do, okay, the same thing here under department, right? I can see finance, I can see human resource, I can see information technology, I can see IT. What's the difference between IT and information technology? They are the same thing. So is that I want to do IT or I want to do information technology? Why? Is because if I plot this graph now, for example, IT will go on a different segment. Like if we're talking about something different, you don't want that. The same thing as what I just dealt with in the gender, right? So we're talking about the same thing. So you want to ensure that you treat that time is running like something else. So let me quickly deal with that, right? So ensure that what you are spelling is exactly what is there. So it's a capital letter I and small letter T. If you do capital letter I and T, you get something else to not affect the change that you want. So I want to replace it with information technology, right? Advanced options. I want to ensure that it matches the entire cell contents, and I click OK, right? With that now, I should have 6 unique 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what I should have, right? Okay. Is there any other thing? I think with that, my data is clean. Is there any other thing? So you ensure that what you have, okay, there's a null here in age. Yes, that's another thing. There's a null here in age, so you need to look into it, right? You need to take care of this null. So if I click on the filter, I see a null sign there. So that's a missing value. That's what we call a missing value. Sometimes it's represented by null. Sometimes it's just a dash. So it is very important that you attend to that. There are 2 ways you can attend to that. Let's go to that profiling which we used earlier, and let's see what that will bring up for us, just to help us. Column quality, column profiling. So this is more like column profiling for just age. What we're looking at here is age, right? You can see that this already giving you an idea of, that's what profiling does for you. It gives you an idea of what you should be expecting if you do the analysis for just age, right? You can see the age range is between 29, even though I'm supposed to be expecting, okay, yes, you have 26 here. Okay, this is the count. So 29 is the, so this is already telling you an idea of what the age range and the percentage of people that fall within that age range, right? It's already giving you a lot of information. So 29 years people is 13% of the people in that company are 29 years of age. 12% is 32 years of age. 12% is 35 years. 11% is 28 years. So it's already giving you a lot of information, which of course you should take time to look into as later. But let's concentrate. Okay. This also tells us about the counts, right? The errors. The empty space is 1, right? Which is that null value we just saw. The distinct is 15. The unique is 5, right? Of course, there's no value. There's no non-value there, right? Because we have a null instead of 0. There's no 0. There's no number 0 there. The count. Then the minimum number is 26, and the maximum number is 75, right? and our average age is 32.03, and our standard deviation is 5.67691. In fact, to make life easier for us, we can just use our average as to fill the null value. Do you understand? So the null value can be 32. You can use 32 to fill the null value. That is one of the ways you take care of missing data. You can use the mean, the mode, the median, right? The mean is, of course, the average, right? So that's one. That's one way you can treat that. Another way you can treat that is to look at, okay, apart from the outlier, look at this. You're having the maximum to be 75. So if you have maximum to be 75, you want to also call to find out. You have a 75-year-old man working with you. It's a good question to ask, right? Because if you check the Nigeria working age limits, sorry, what is the age of retirement in Nigeria?
60.
60. And if you're seeing 75, that should, thank you, Ola. That should tell you that there's possibly a problem, or of course, maybe the person has retired but is still working, right? So you want to just confirm. So you do analysis with the stakeholders. That's called relating with the stakeholders, with the people involved in the data analysis, or the department that is wanting you to do that analysis. You relate with them to be sure that you're working accordingly. So that's 75, right? It's another thing to work on. Okay, let me just go. Ibrahim, I'll come to you very soon, please. The standard deviation is 5.69. Average is 32. So I can just, let me assume that this maximum is 75, is a mistake, or is an outlier. That's what we call an outlier, right? Where the range that you're expecting, I should expect that the range should be between, take for example, 20 to 60. But now I'm seeing 75. So I call the company tells me, oh, it's not 75. Maybe it's 35, right? All I need to do is to replace it with 35, right? Then, of course, this null value, I can also call the company to get the value for the null value and say, oh, what is the name of that person with the null value? I tell them the name, they tell me the age, right? If they are not able to provide the age, or it's just data that I'm working on, I can replace it with the average so that I move on. Is that okay? So in this case, what I'm going to do, yes, let me uncheck this. Because Ibrahim, go on ahead and ask a question.
Yeah, okay. What I wanted to ask was, how do I get my column statistics to show more details? Like, you had more. I don't have things like standard deviation, count. I have counts. Anything below max, min max, I don't have it. How do I get it to show more? And again, my value distribution is using a bar chart for me. I noticed yours is column chart.
What system are you using? And what version of Excel are you?
Let me just check that quickly.
So those are two things that, in fact, forget about the system. Doesn't matter the system. But another thing that's very important is the version of the Excel that you're using. I'm using Excel 365, and I think that's about the latest, right? And of course, it's updating constantly. So I have the most recent. So yeah, sorry about that. I didn't even notice. I've not worked with earlier versions, so I don't know. Yeah, so I really don't know how that
okay, that might be the issue because it's just showing me Excel here. All right, no problem. Thanks.
That possibly is the issue. So it's just the version. Yeah. Okay, so I go to null. I want to replace null with the average, which we just saw as 32, right? Replace values, right? I'm replacing null with 32, which is what I saw there, right? I can round it up to 33 because we have 32 point something, right? And I can say okay, right? And it does that for me. At the same time, please mute yourself if you are Mute yourself, please. So I can also, that 75, right, is also an outlier. So let me also change that, because that is going to usually change my average from time to time. So I want to be sure that I have the correct thing. So replace values. Let me say 75 is not supposed to be 75, and I was told, let me replace it with the average still 33. Is that okay? Better for me than having something that is way larger than what I'm expecting. So with that, I believe, okay, another thing I want to do here, I want to check this marital status. I have a lot of marital status here. I don't want this many things. I just said I want married, single, others. I even have nil here. You can imagine. Okay. I just want married. It's either the person is married, the person is single, or the person is others. Whatsoever that others means, whether nil, whether divorce, whether complicated, whatsoever it is, right? That is what I want, right? So how do I do that? So this is very important, right? This is how you work with, this is Power BI, right? I taught you how to use if statement last week. I taught you a lot last week, which you can use in doing some of these things in just without doing it in Power Query. But Power Query makes life easier for you. So you don't have to write. If you remember the if statement code I wrote that day, it was a bit, yeah, but Power Query just helps make life easier for you. So let's see how you can do that. So I come to add column, right? And I do conditional column. Are you seeing it? So that's what you do. If you want to conditional column, then I say if, so if what is the column name? What I'm working on is marital status. If the marital status equal what now? Equal marriage, right? Then married, right? And I add another clause. If marital status is equal to single, then the person is single. Otherwise, right? S. Otherwise, or S, the person is others. Person marital status is others, right? So I just simply click, okay, I can change the column name. I can use a column name there. Let me still use marital status. Marital status, but I know it will not agree because will they agree? I don't think so, because it will not. Okay. Yeah. So it gave me marital status. So I thought because there's a marital, usually I use something else. So let's see. So I can see that here, all I have is married, other, single, which is exactly what I want. So I close this. I come here and I remove it because I already have that column, right? And I come here, you notice that it has changed, right? It has changed. The format has changed. What I want it in is in text. So I take it back to text, right? So basically, I've done quite a lot to clean this data. Okay, yeah, one more thing, please. State of origin, right? If you're trying to plot a spatial graph or that's what it's called, a spatial graph showing the different location, right? And you're trying to bring in the map, it will show Nigeria very small if you're using this, because the map will not understand Lagos without you putting Lagos states. Will not understand Anambra without you putting Anambra state. So you want to fill this column with Lagos state, Anambra state, Kano state. How do we do that? So there's a way you do that, which makes life easier for you. So you click on the column, right? You go to columns from example, still on add column, right? You go to column, then you click on from selection, right? Then I type, say for example, this is Lagos. So what this will do for you is that it needs you to provide the first, right? And it will help you train the others. It will help you complete the rest, right? So allow me use the word train. That's to help you train the rest to what you want it to be. So I want the first to be Lagos State, right? And I click enter. Can you see under that you see faded Kano State, Anambra State, Kano State, Oyo State, you see it faded, right? So all you need to do for it to come alive or for it to show, right, is to click OK. So I now have a new column there, right? A new column there, which tells me Lagos State, Anambra State, and all the rest. So I will push this. All I need to do is put my cursor there and move my arrow key, and it moves. I want to bring it to where state of origin is, right? Right. I'm going to remove state of origin. So I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to rename this merged. Look at how I named. I just come here. But you can right click and type rename, right? You can see rename there. That's one way. Another way is I can double click on it, right? And highlight it and change it. So that's 2 ways you can rename a header, state of origin. All right. I'm not missing anything. Okay. Sorry, let me look through the entire data again and be sure that there is nothing I'm missing. Okay. So I remember I mentioned earlier that I really don't need this name of staff, because with the unique ID, I can always locate which staff I'm talking about. So I really don't need it. I can remove it, right? In fact, most times people don't like companies and analysis. We don't like working with names. Why? Is because to avoid things like you said? Funke, mute yourself, please.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, to take name of staff and all the rest, so that you don't begin to have some form of sentiment and all the rest while taking decisions. What we prefer to work with is employee ID or some unique ID that we can use to always get the name back at the end of the decision, and we can always refer back. Yeah, so we can remove name of staff, though that was not properly spread earlier. But it's not important at the moment because we are removing it after all. So we've done a lot with this data. And of course, I can load this data from here and we will say is a clean data. Let me show you how to load so that when I continue, I need to continue. I'll show you why I need to continue. So I can, from here, right, when you come back to home, you can do close and load. All right. What that does for you is that it closes the Power Query and load it back into the Excel platform, right? Which is the normal. Then in Power Query, in BI, what does this tell you again? Oh, you can remind us what it tells you in BI. In BI is delete and load. Is it delete or just load? Yes, in Power BI is load. Is that okay? So either way is the same thing. So you just load your data, close and load. Right, so it's loading up. So this is the data that I just worked with. You can see, if I provide this data like this, of course, it's a clean data set, right? And this will be accepted. This will be accepted, right? But as you advance in data analysis, as you become more like a professional in the data analysis realm, you want to do better than what you have here, right? How do we see to that is the next question, which we'll be handling in the next 20 minutes, if we're able to, right? Anywhere we stop, probably, I don't know. Let's just see how far we can go with that. Any question based on what we've done so far? Any question? Please ask your question if you have
Okay,
one.
I have a
Yeah.
question, please.
Okay.
Everything you have done here, can't normal Excel do everything? Like the data cleaning and the rest. Can't normal Excel do all these things?
Okay, take for example Lagos State. It should not be so easy for normal Excel to do that, to just attach it, unless if you do states differently, Power Query is part of Excel. It's not, we didn't do, this is Excel, right? What I just taught you is still in Excel. It's not a difference. I understand what you're saying, like what I did last week, Tuesday, for those of us that attended last week class, right?
Yes.
So you can still do it in Excel. Just that I feel it's much easier in Power Query. That's why I'm teaching you in Power Query. Right? Now I'm going to teach you the parts that you can't do in Excel, which is Power Pivot, Power Pivot, or whatever. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, another one again. Sorry. Another one again. Is Power Query same as Power BI?
The same Power Query, the way you work with Power Query in Excel is the same way you work in Power Query in Power BI. You have Power Query in Excel and you have Power Query in Power BI. They work based on the same principle. Hope you know that Power BI is a Microsoft product. So it's built on some, it's an analytical visualization tool, right? But it's built based on Excel. Does that answer your question?
Okay.
So,
yes, thank you.
Yeah. Somebody else want to ask?
Yeah. I just wanted to say, please, can you share today's file again? I was logged out before I downloaded it, so it's not in the chat anymore.
Which file exactly?
This file we're working with now, the raw
I
file.
sent it as a mail yesterday. I didn't drop it in the chat. Did somebody drop it in the chat?
Yeah, someone dropped it earlier.
Okay, possibly. Yeah, please, that person should do it again. Thank you.
Okay. I will go there.
Okay. Any other question? Please, to be frank with you, I'm not in as much as possible. Okay, I can look at the charts now, right? But when I'm teaching, I can't follow the charts because I need to see my screen. And okay, please, let's move on. Can we move on, please, so that I can touch a bit of Power Pivot before I go? Okay, so with this, like I said before, if I leave my data like this, fine and good, but you want something that is far more than this, right? You want something that is, take for example, I don't want to see text. I can see just numbers, right? In this department, I can use numbers to represent it, right? Which other thing? So the modeling part of it, that's what where I'm going to now, right? The modeling part of it, that's what I want to look at now. So give me a minute. So all you need to do, I like your test back. So Control Shift down, right? So it's already named summarize with pivots. Table, go back to data. So table design, convert to range, summarize with pivots table, add a column. Just give me a minute, please. So can you hear me? Okay, we take this back to Power Query like we did. So this is the part that, like I said before, this is the part that you can't do using Excel. Please learn the Power Query. Is easy to learn if you follow this class, if you follow everything I've done. If you know it in Excel already, just help you easily apply it. So this is the part that you really won't have been able to do without Power Query. So let's go back, please. So now I'm going to be creating dimensions. I have 40 minutes, so I have to run. I'm going to be creating dimensions, right? And what does the dimension help me do? The dimension help me to represent each of these numbers, each of these tests with maybe letters, with just a number. And what does that? It's simply optimization. It helps you call up things more easily, right? Without stress. This start time, I just want the dates. I don't know why it's bringing up this thing, right? Transform. Just want to see the start state. Just dates. I don't want time. Replace current. So I just want only the start date. I don't want that time that it was showing. So like what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to change each of this to stop. So let me show you what I mean, right? Let me take, for example, I duplicate this. I think it's already duplicated. This was HR data, which is the same thing as this. So I don't want to duplicate it. That's already duplicated from me. So I can start by saying dim department, rename it, and say the dimensionality of the department right? So that is the name. Then I can go to department. I remove all other column apart from department because all I want to do is just to work on department, right? So dim department. Then I do remove. I can remove. Right click on it. I remove duplicates because all I want to see is just 6 columns because there are 6 departments. Did I just do? Sorry, I'm trying to work fast, so it's making me remove duplicates, right? So this is what I would be seeing. I'll be seeing just, these are the 6 departments, right? Sales, human resources, marketing, finance, operations, information technology. The next thing I want to do is to go to add column, right? And add an index column. What index column does is that rather than this test, it gives it a unique identifier. So I come here, I say from 1, right? And it gives me this. So index. So it helps in naming each department, right? Department 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And I will do the same for other columns. Is that okay? I'll do the same for other columns. That is what I need to do now. I will just do that quickly so that we can see. So you change it, you also change it to test, right? And now you've completed what you need to do there. You do the same for what are other columns that are there, duplicate. Okay, now you do the same for salary, right? On the salary, I can group the salary, right? So these are different things you can work on the different columns on the same Excel sheet, but you can have a lot more information so that when you're doing the analysis, it can help you do a proper analysis. So you see what I mean. So I come here, I click on it, right? And remove all other duplicates, remove other columns, right? Then conditional column. Why? Is because I want to group each of this, right? So maybe lower salary earners, average salary earners, and high salary earners. I can just do just those 3, right? So If I look at this, it tells me the range. So I have between 45,000 all the way to, you can see there's 470,000 here, right? That's to tell me that that's an outlier, right? So I should have taken care of that. But we'll just leave it because that's an outlier. That's much. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll just leave it as that. But usually, please, this should have been taken care of earlier. I totally forgot. Right? Or I didn't look at it to see that. Yeah, no. Right. So I'm going to just classify them anyway. Then conditional column, we don't have so much time to begin to go back and correct all that. So if the salary, right, is less than or equal to, let me say 48,000, right? What can I say? Then I say is a lower, right, salary, lower salary or low salary, right? Add another clause. If the salary is less than or equal to what's now? Can just say 52,000, right? It is medium salary. Otherwise, I can say is a high salary. So this is, I'm trying to build a model, right? And to do that, you have to get all this done. Right. First of all, I should have removed duplicates. That's just to help me. Sorry, I'm just remove duplicate. Did I do that? I don't think I did. Remove duplicate. So if I had removed duplicate, this is what I should have had, right? That helps narrow down this thing, and I have this, right? Okay. Then I go to HR data again. I rename that, please. Always rename. Rename it to dim salary. Okay. I go back to HR data. Sorry. Let me see. Okay. Just trying to be sure. Duplicates. What should we work on next? We've worked on department, salary, states. Okay, start date. Under start date, I can break that start date down. Let me show you what I mean. So let me rename this dim date. You might not be able to do this in Excel, some of these things, but if you are able, good and fine, please use, I mean normal Excel, please, so we don't, because this is still part of Excel. Remove other columns, right? Power query is still part of Excel. Remove duplicates. Remove duplicates, right? And then I can also change this, yeah? So from date, please mute yourself. I'm having a class. Yeah? Can go and watch movie. I love you so much, yeah? Yeah. Close this. Close this sliding. Yeah, put on the light. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Really sorry about that. So now I want to extract the year from this, right? In fact, I will go back to HR data and show you something because I missed that too, based on the objective that we're working on. So I'll go back there and show you very soon. So let me work on this first. Let me go back. Sorry, give me a minute, yeah? I'll come back here. Let me go back to HR data. I should have done that earlier. Remember that what we are trying to work on is to get the number of years of service of each employee, right? And those that have worked above 7 years are due for promotion, and those that have worked less than 7 years they are not due, or like, right? So that's what we are trying to work on. So from here, initially, I should have sorted that out, or I don't know. I think I missed that because Femi, please go ahead and ask your question.
Sorry. I think it's important that we have to make it compulsory. Everybody must be muted, please, because this thing is getting into the recordings. It's not just disturbing the class, it's getting into your recordings. So everybody, please, there's a way you can check. You see the mic beside everybody. Whoever is not muted, I think you might need to pause the class. It is very important. Please.
Okay. Please, guys, let's try and mute ourselves. Let's mute ourselves. Everybody mute yourself. If you're not asking a question, if your hands is up, you can see that everybody whose hands is up. I've called them to hear what they have to say, answer their question, and all the rest. If you are not saying anything, please mute the class, please. Mute yourself, please. Please. Yeah, because this is going into. Please mute yourself. Please. Thank you. Yeah, like I said earlier. So I want to get the age of service that these people have served. More like, how do I do that? It's very easy. It's still on the art column, right? You can see when I click on the start dates, right? I see dates, right? I click on it, right? It shows me age. What does that tell me? That tells me the age between when these people, the age between the start date and the current date. That's what age does for me, right? So age will simply help do that. So let me just click on that age. You see a new column come up, right? You can see this is telling me the age in terms of days, right, that the employer has worked. But what I need is not dates. What I need is in year, right? I can also right-click this, go to transform, right? And click on, you have days, you have hours, you have minutes, you have seconds, you have total years. So what I want is total years. So can you see that it has given me 18 years, right? But what I also want is in whole number. So I click on that number there, 1.2, right? Telling me that it's in decimal or it's in just numbers. And I click on whole numbers, right? And it shows me the values in whole numbers. Is that clear? I should have done that earlier. Sorry about that. What happened? Ofo Joseph, did you kick me out? Why did I
you just stop sharing?
You said?
You stop sharing.
Okay. That's surprising. Sorry. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Try it again now, someone.
Oh, sorry. That was not what I should have shared. Sorry. You share. Here's what I'm working on. Oh. Second class. Yeah, this is where I should be. Okay. So are we together?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So please, this is the age of service. So let me rename that to years of service. Right? Then after doing that, after years of service, I should be able to also get I should also be able to get, if based on the years of service, if they are due for promotion or not. What do? I come to conditional column. I should have done all this earlier. That's what I was trying to remember, if I forgot anything. So I can say status of promotion or promotion status, right? Right? So I can say years of service, because my argument is going to be based on years of service. Is he less than? If it's less than or equal to 6, or I can say, it has to be greater than, right? Because it has to be 7 or greater than, is greater than or equal to 7, right? I have due for promotion. Due for due for promotion. Otherwise, right, not due for promotion. Right, and I click OK. Right? Can you see? So it has told me promotion status. So you can see the people that are due for promotion. If I click due for promotion now, everybody that I have there in years of service should be between 7, 9, 8, 7, and so on and so forth. Wait, there's even a 17 here. This is another outlier which we should have picked up and dealt with. But you know how to deal with outliers right now because I've shown you how to. Either you replace it with the average or you replace it with something. But if the company started in 2016, right, we shouldn't be having 17 years. That's obviously an outlier. All right. But I just saw it now. All right. So please, of course, it's a class, so please speak as much as you are able to do and ensure that when you're doing yours, you take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to duplicate this again. I'm going to delete this. Oh, it's already past 7. Dim dates, deletes. So I'm going to rename this. I'm going to take another maybe 7 minutes. Then we'll stop around 7 past 10. We'll continue from where we stop next week and do the visualization. Is that okay?
All right.
So anywhere we are able to stop, we'll stop there and continue the visualization in the next class. So what we are looking at is dim dates. Let me try to sort out a few more things before I call it a day, right? Or I will just complete it, then continue with visualization. You see what I mean? So what I want to, on dim dates, what I want here is I will want to remove every other thing apart from start date and this promotion, years of service. I want years of service to remain. So let me bring it close. Right. Let me bring it close to start date. I also want that promotion status to remain. So let me bring it close. Right. So I want these 3 columns to remain. So I do shift forward arrow and I right click on it and I do remove other columns. So that leaves just those 3 columns there, right? And at the same time, I remove duplicates from start date, right? And it helps in bringing out just the most important things that I need there, right? Then which other thing do I need to do? I can also create a start. I want to see the start here, right? Let me do that quickly. Date, right? Yeah. So I want it to stand alone, which it has done for me. This person started in 2017 and all the rest. I could also get months, the month that they started. This will help me when I'm doing more data analysis as concerning which months more staff joined and all the rest. So this is very, very important. What did I want to do? Okay, it's still the same dates, right? I'm trying to get months, under months, name of months. So it tells me that this person started September, March, April, and under that, so I can also get the day. What day did they join? Right? The same thing, I go to dates, then I check day, name of day that they joined. It also brings that up. This is very important information. So I have quite a lot others to do, right? Which I will quickly do in your absence. And when I come the next class, I'll quickly show you so that we don't waste so much time doing that. Then we continue from there. But at least you have an idea of how to do things like this. Take, for example, let me tell you what I mean. This age, you can group it into maybe, you can group this age. So that's what I will do, right? Into maybe medium age, upper age group, right? Middle age and more older members of staff. This state of origin, well, you can't do much with state of origin. So you make it have a unique ID. That's what is important there. Gender, you make it have a unique ID. Marital status, you make it have a unique ID. So, so if you are able to do that, you should have about eight different data here. But that would be a good place to stop, because if you're able to do this, you can as well do for the rest. So what I expect us to do, right, as part of our assignment, is to create this same thing that I've just done for department salary and date, for state of origin, for age, state of origin, gender, marital status. Just create for those 3 or 4. Yeah. Any other thing, I will let you know I will send you a mail containing the video, then I will detail what I want you to do before the next class. I should have done it also, then we can move forward from there. Is that okay? Any question based on what we've done today?
Hi, sorry, my question is off the record. So I just want to know, is it possible to like get a free version of this 365? I think that's like the most updated version, so we'll be able to, have the exact same features with you as well.
Okay. To be frank with you, I'm currently not in Nigeria. I don't know if it still works the same way it used to. Maybe you should go into one of those software shops and ask for Microsoft 365 and see if they would have it.
Okay, I'm also in the United Kingdom as well, so
Okay. Oh, all I did was I downloaded Microsoft Word, and it came as a complete package. So I pay £1 something every month also, or £2
all right, I'll
every
check
month.
it out.
Yeah, so I really did not do anything extra.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So if you're in UK, it's relatively easy. You see, every month or every year, I can't remember I pay it, but it's almost insignificant. I can't remember. Can't remember it. Daniel, go ahead.
Okay, thank you once again.
You're
So,
welcome, sir.
with what we did today, data cleaning and the rest, if eventually if you are looking for a job and they give you a data to clean, and you decide to use, since I'm not good at using Excel for doing that. Now, if I finish watching this video and I master it, if I decide to use this Power Query to do that, the question is, are they going to be asking that it is compulsorily that I use Excel to do the data cleaning? That's my first question.
Okay. No, nobody will give you a data set and tell you clean it and tell you you must use Excel. And Power Query is part of Excel. So as far as you have Power Query in what you're doing, it's not, do you understand? What they want to see is that by the time they're looking at the data, it is well trimmed. There's no duplicates of data. The data is standardized. Which other thing? Yeah, those outliers are taken care of. What other thing?
Okay.
Those are basic things, right? Then
Yeah.
if you have more time, you begin to do these things that I'm doing to further show them that you know what you are doing. You're a professional in what you're doing, right? So
Okay.
if you're able to do this part now that I'm currently doing, even possibly model the data and show them that, oh, the data had been modeled, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
like you're at another level.
Right. Good.
Yeah, so please embrace the Power Query. Is very useful. You cannot, yeah, with what I know
Yeah,
now.
I think Daniel has forgotten that this is still Excel because everything looks so much like Power BI. Me too. I have to bring myself back to say, okay, this is still Excel. This is still Excel. Daniel is still Excel. Oh.
It's still
All right.
Excel, please.
Yeah.
It's still Excel,
Yes,
yeah. I didn't
yes, I
leave
know. You know what
Excel.
they say?
Go
Yes, I
on, go
know. So
on.
you know they say what you don't know is bigger than you. So I just need to ask. Another thing
Okay.
again is please, from the beginning, since I didn't join from the beginning, did you really teach from how you can navigate from Excel to this Power Query? Is it from beginning?
Yeah, I explained that. That's, of course,
Okay.
I brought my data from Excel normal sheets down to Power Query, isn't it? So in fact, I did it 2 times because I remember after cleaning data, I loaded it back, like I closed and load, and I loaded it back to Power Query. So I did like 3 or 4 times already because initially when I even started, somebody asked that question and I had to redo it. So yeah, you
All right.
watch a video. When you watch the recording, you would see it.
Mhm. Thank you so much. And again, lastly,
Mhm.
please, how many after you're done teaching us, you know, this thing is going to take 1 month. How many weeks, or should I say months, weeks or months, do you expect us to perfect all everything you've taught us?
Everything I've taught you. To be frank with you, what I'm
Yeah.
teaching you is just an intro into this whole thing. So what I expect you to do
Wow.
is to practice, 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 practice. So you go back,
Okay.
get another data set and practice. Go back, get another data set and practice. You can always get data sets from kaggle.com, right? And keep practicing because that's going to help you a lot. Then you could ask questions. We talked about mentorship programs. So if you're working on something and you really think you don't understand something or you don't know why you're seeing something, you could ask a question to any of us. Ogawale is here, is a boss in this arena. I'm here also. So there are other few people that we could refer you to. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Ogawale,
so much.
is Wale still here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. You've what you said is valid, Samuel. So please carry on.
Yeah. Offer Joseph, go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the class. Please, I've actually wondered if one is to clean up duplicates and probably there are valid data that are into 2 or 3 places. Will it not automatically delete or remove valid data? For example, I don't know, but there could be valid data that are into 2 or 3. I don't know what, is there any way to know maybe is there any way to know whether a data is a mistake or actually a duplicate, or whether a data is, even though it's into 2 or 3 or more places, but they're all valid? I don't know if I'm understood, please.
Yes. That's one of the reasons why you have a unique ID. And the unique identifier helps you distinguish if there's a duplicate or not. If you have 2 people with the same bank account, that's to tell you that it's a duplicate, right? And one of the reasons why I was trying to use keep and duplicate values is so that you see that they are exactly the same, right? So you have the same name, the same gender, the same marital status, and all the rest.
To wait
So
wait for the management.
please, can you mute yourself?
Just to explain the situation.
Mayowa, please. Mayowa. Mute yourself, please. So that's it. So it just makes you know that it's a duplicate and you can remove it. So if you fear that there is a duplicate that you might tamper with if you remove it, you might need to call back the organization and ask, okay, this is what I'm saying. Is it a duplicate or is a unique value? But I don't expect two different people to have the same bank account, like I said earlier, or to have the same unique ID. That's the importance of unique ID. You understand? But when you have two unique IDs, that's why you always remove duplicates from the unique ID, which in our this thing we've said is the employer ID. If it was a student, it would have been the student number, right? If it's a, what do I use now? You have one, sometimes you have what is called serial number. Sometimes you use the serial number, right? Serial number becomes the unique ID. So those are things that could help you know the primary. But please, when you get the data, the first thing you want to look at, what is the primary ID or the unique identifier here? That should guide you. That should really, really guide you in taking care of duplicates and all of other things like that. Yeah, Judy, go on. Please, we should be out here in the next 3 minutes, 7:20.
Yeah, thank you so much for this
Yeah.
opportunity. I've been practicing and following the way you were showing us. So I wanted to know now is if I decided to want to get into personal training, I don't know if you guys have classes for that. Like how much is that? Because since this is just introduction and honestly this is my first time of getting into data analysis stuff, and I think I really like it, and I really want to have a further training in that.
Okay. Mr. Wally, please can you help us with that, please?
Hi, Judith. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So it all depends. As I've said before, our core is actually teaching kids coding. However, we doing this is more like giving back. So for me, it's in two ways. We have the mentorship, which is you can have that directly with Samuel if Samuel is willing to take you further with you. If he's overwhelmed and is not able, then we'll most likely recommend you to some of our other partners that are actually skilled in teaching these things. So for us, this is not really our core business. However, we feel let's just do this. Let's introduce people to it. Not that you'd go ahead, spend money for data analysis class, and at the end of the day, you'd be like, oh, I don't like it. It's business analysis I like. Like, for example, now, once we're done with this class, we're going to be taking a break in December, but by January, first week in January, we're going to be having a free business analysis class again. So what we're trying to do as a business model is basically to introduce people into it. And then whoever is the tutor, if you feel like, okay, you want to have one-on-one session, we allow you to talk directly to the tutor. If the tutor is available, if the tutor is not available, then we can introduce you to other partners that do this as a business. Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wally. Any other question? So Judith, based on what Wally just said, if whatsoever you decide, let's you have my number in the group, or you have Wally's number in the group. You can update us on what you decide to do to move on. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Any other question? If there's, in the absence of no other question, please, I'll leave us to go for today. Thank you for coming. All right, and thank you for staying to the end. All right. We'll say the same time, the same station next week, Sunday.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Yeah,
Samuel.
thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Do
Bye.
let's have a lovely week.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the
Yeah,
time.
have a lovely week,
Thank you for
everyone.
the knowledge.
Bye.
Thank you, Wale. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. I appreciate your time.